Good afternoon. Phil Lindemann with your news from Vail Summit Orthopedics and Neurosurgery on Krystal 93. A Breckenridge woman abducted her 9-year-old son this Tuesday and tried fleeing the country against a child protection order. Summit Sheriff reports the woman set her sights on a commune in Mexico. She took, quote, several evasive measures after leaving Summit and made it all the way to the Mexican border with her son. There, she was stopped by Border Patrol and arrested just over 24 hours after the abduction. She faces at least one felony. The child is back with his father, who first reported that plot. An accused fraudster is facing over a dozen charges in 3 Colorado counties. James Power was in Summit County Court today, just weeks after he was caught in California and extradited on felony warrants in Summit, Montrose, and Grand. Here in Summit, he's charged with identity theft and more for stealing credit cards to book vacation rentals. He is back in local court October 6th. A hunter is on trial this week in Grand County for criminally negligent homicide. Harry Watkins is accused of shooting a hunting partner in 2020 near Kremmling. Watkins says the other man took off his hunting vest and appeared to be an injured elk when Watkins fired 3 shots, killing him instantly. Prosecutors argue both men did ignore hunter's safety, but only one paid for it with his life. Trial continues next week. At 50 years old, Breckenridge Elementary is proud of its heritage, but a big piece of it is missing.
All through the winter, we got to leave school halfway through the day to participate in a winter sport, whether it was snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, ice skating, skiing, snowboarding. And I think that's sort of the heart of what Breckenridge is.
That was former student and current first-grade teacher Kelly Atkins. Why, then, did such a beloved program disappear?
It's kind of an equity piece, making sure that all kids have access to the winter gear that they need. So I think it would take some partnership with the community.
Those partners have not yet materialized. Breck L principal Anne Mary Westerhoff.
Just kind of went away, which a lot of people would love to see that come back.
That Friday Winter Rec program does not exist anywhere at Summit schools anymore. The high school ski teams are about the closest students get. The Mountain Towns 2030 Climate Conference wrapped up today in Breckenridge, where Charlotte Lynn with Town of Avon is newly inspired to get back into her field.
I also started my career as a climate scientist, and I got so depressed that I quit in like 6 months. And I'm really glad I'm back now, working in climate again.
Lynn is now sustainability coordinator for Avon, where she hopes to tackle this other side of climate action.
We kind of forget that at the core of this, this is a human issue, and we're all just humans dealing with these issues. The resiliency, dealing with climate anxiety.
Many local towns, including Frisco and Breck, have sustainability coordinators. Most local ski resorts these days do too. Local fire danger remains moderate today, with no fire restrictions here in Summit. In sports, the Rockies are playing the Giants right now. And in local sports, brought to you by Red Mountain Autos at their new location on Airport Road. Today on the Warmup, Summit High junior golfer Max Kunzik looks back on the best 2 holes of his season.
Cliff and Carbondale. I shot an eagle on par 5, 2 tournaments in a row.
Before those 2 tourneys, he had never sunk an eagle. What was going right on those eagles?
Oh, everything. Putting, full swings, driver off the tee. Yeah, getting on the green is just all good.
Tigers golf season ended earlier this week with regionals at Eagle Ranch, where Max missed the cut for state.
I expected it to be a easier course, but it was pretty hard, narrow fairways. The greens were super hard to read.
Not one Tigers golfer qualified for state this year, but Max says he will be back next year, dropping a few strokes to shoot in the high 70s as a senior. This has been the Warm-Up, brought to you every Thursday and Friday by iFurnish in Frisco and Kremmling. In other preps, Tigers football's back and well-rested after a bye week for Wheat Ridge today, playing down on the Front Range. Head coach James Wagner on the Krystal Morning Show.
It should be a fun fight for my kids, and I think they're just excited to get back on the field after a time off.
Coming up next week is homecoming. So, would coach ever consider dance lessons for bye-week cross-training?
I know my guys could sure use some dance lessons, so.
Oh, I see some choreography coming in the future.
Oh
yeah. Well, and I mean, these days, even the NFL allows actual celebrations, and those guys have some of the most, intricate celebrations.
They do,
and
they're not always the best answers either. So.
Right. Tigers kickoff tonight is 6 o'clock. Phil Lindemann with your news from Vail Summit Orthopedics and Neurosurgery on Krystal 93.